Let's talk about the Washington football team.
Yeah, let's talk about someone who's really good, unlike the Jets. Um, I
I
actually
mean,
like.
both these teams are 1-5 now. So, the
Yeah,
Giants beat Washington by 1 point.
this was. Did you watch it? This was a bad game.
I did
This
not.
was like, the
I
Jets getting
didn't bother
pummeled.
watching it because I'm like, it's so bad.
No, and you have every right not to. Like the one reason I'm paying attention to the Washington football team is because Alex Smith is back. He's taken out of his injury, and he's just seeing Alex Smith playing football. Doesn't matter if it's terrible. Seeing him play football is an absolute joy. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a pleasure. You want him to do well. You will Alex Smith to do well. His leg was just literally hanging by a thread. He could have had it amputated. He could have lost his life. And here he is, out there playing football. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's, fearing for his life again soon because did he get sacked like 6 times? Come on, man. Like,
Well,
the
that's the thing.
Giants.
I don't think – did Alex play in this game?
I don't think so. I'm not talking about Smith like in this game. I just mean in general. It's
Oh,
great to
yeah,
have
in
him
general.
back. He came out and it's just kind of
He
nice.
played last week, though, and he made
He came in for Allen, who
Right.
I'm pretty sure got rocked or something, took a nasty hit, looked like he was a bit suspect going into that. Obviously, Dwayne Haskins got benched.
Do you think that Alex Smith, after this drubbing, I would call it, by the Giants, do you think Alex Smith starts next week?
I don't think.
Or do they trust Kyle Allen still?
I've not seen Kyle Allen had plenty of weapons, actually. People forget that, when he was at the Panthers in that last season. And then, obviously he had Riverboat Ron as well, who just loves to go wild. And, of course, Ron's brought him in here thinking he's going to replicate that kind of form. And ultimately what's happened is that name me a weapon Washington has.
Terry McLaurin.
Who?
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
He's probably their best wideout.
Yeah, but hey, same as Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy at the Broncos. You ain't got nobody to throw to you. Ain't worth shit, is it? The problem with Alex Smith is, I've got obviously. I'm so rose-tinted about him. He's such a lovely human being. He's an amazing guy. He's a great family man. He's overcome something that so many of us would never even get close to. But the thing that really sort of irks me about the whole situation is that he's never going to be able to play at the same level that he did for the 49ers. And when he was at the 49ers, he had plenty of weapons. And then he got benched, of course, for Colin Kaepernick. And, everything kind of – this is a really ruthless league. People forget that. And for people who are watching this maybe for the first time or checking in, trying to – sort of, up their game when it comes to the NFL. I'm by no means an expert. I love it and I'm passionate about it. But what you realise is it's such a ruthless game, and one mistake can cost you your entire career, effectively. And that's why it's so important to get that money. It's so important to get that cheddar, brah. You've got to dig in. You've got to dig in, and just seeing Smith have the opportunity to play football, even if he's just on the sideline, that's far better than seeing his leg hanging by a thread like it was,
Yes.
So
I am 100% happy that Alex Smith is playing again. I literally shed a tear when he came out against the Rams because I watched that game that Alex got hurt, and it was horrible. And it almost reminds me of what happened to Dak.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Dak, luckily, has had successful surgery. The one thing I will say for Kyle Allen is he does get good stats. He just doesn't do much with it. I think he was 31 of 42, 2 touchdowns and an interception. When you hear that, when you see that, you think, oh, that's really good. The problem is he's throwing it all over the place. He's running for his life, and, the Giants, I mean... Who cares? I don't want to sound awful, but who gives a shit about either of these teams? I'm passionate about Washington. By the way, while we're here, what do you think they should call their football team?
I'm going to go old school, and I think they should call it the Washington Generals. The Generals were the old name for the baseball team. From back in the early 40s and 50s, I think the Washington Generals would be a very good name. because it would go along with the Nationals, the Capitals, the Wizards, or the Bullets, or whatever the fuck they are nowadays. I think the Generals would be a good one.
Yeah,
but
I had the Senators, but problem is
Senators,
obviously, you've already got a hockey franchise with that name. Not to say that you can't have a crossover, but it's but I don't know. You can't win if you're at Washington, can you? It's a bad franchise. It's been particularly bad since Kirk Cousins got out of Dodge and obviously got his payday at the Vikings. And you know what? Like, there was all that racial conflict over the name, which just sums up modern. Like, obviously, I'm not keen on the name. If it's offensive, change it. That's fine. But, how long have they had it? And only now have we decided that it's a good time to shift it? You've had plenty of opportunity to do this before. I know there's been uproar before as well, but nothing to this level. And obviously, I think the Black Lives Matter movement really pushed it in the right way. And that's a good thing. But then, they just say, okay, well, we're the Washington football team. And they get shredded for it, taking a piss out of, all these athletes like LeBron James going online and saying, what a shit name. It's like, what do you want from them? You caused all kinds of mayhem, yelled at them about the concept of it.
All right, so we were talking about the Giants and the Redskins. Here's the thing that is just hilarious about the NFC East, which is the Giants, the Redskins, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. The best team in the East right now is the Cowboys, and they got thumped by the Cardinals.
Oh, I'm looking forward to talking about that. I watched that.
Oh, my God. Like,
to 2-4, mate.
The Cowboys are 2-4. The Eagles are 1-4. And Giants and Washington are 1-5. This is by far the worst division in NFL right now.
Yeah. It's not the first time either. It's been like this before. Yeah, it has. It's been like this before several times. Yeah, the Cowboys, actually, historically, since the Irving days, have been a 500 team. And we want to act as if they're this, Leviathan, just because of the size of the stadium and because of Jerry Jones's big old grapefruits. He's like the Vince McMahon of NFL. But, I mean, like, whatever, man. Should we talk